What's going on, everybody? Tex Trades back here with another video. I'm going to try and keep this one short and sweet and to the point. Today is going to be about how to mark up your charts and exactly how I do it, and the tool that I use, the actual platform called TradingView, to help me do that. So if you go over to the screen, in the search bar, you just type up tradingview.com. You can see it up here, tradingview.com. And then once you get to it, you would just click on products, go down to pricing, and then this screen would pop up here. You click on monthly, and this is what it would cost per month. So I have the essential plan. It is $14.95 a month, and it allows me to do everything that I need to do. All right, so once you decide what fits your budget and what your needs are, you just use that. I have the essential plan. That is all I need. So now we go to this chart, and this is how this is inside TradingView. Once you've purchased your plan and all that good stuff, this is how your chart will look. I have mine set to dark mode, I believe. Let's see, the canvas. Yeah, I have my background to solid, all that kind of good stuff. So this is how it's going to look. Your candles, if they're green candles, that means they're going up. If they're red candles, that means they're going down. So to get started, if you look in the top left corner over here, you'll see all your time frames. If you just do a little drop down, click the arrow down. I do not do the second time frames. This is way too much volatility for me. I do not like it, so I will not use any of these. And I believe on the essential plan, you can't even go into the second time frame. So for me, the only ones that I have marked up would be the 3-minute, the 5-minute, the 15, the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 1 day, and the 1 week. Those are all the time frames that I use, and you can see them all right up here. So for example, watch the 3-minute. If I unstar the 3-minute, it goes away. You see it's gone now. And if I click it back, it pops back up. So once you favorite it, it comes into your favorite column right here. So that way, if you click on the 3-minute, now every single candle in here, this is a 3-minute candle, 3-minute, 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 so on and so forth. So go to the 5-minute, all these are 5-minute candles. Now these are 15-minute candles. Now these are 30-minute candles, all right? So I typically am always on the 3 or the 5-minute. I'll use like the weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, and 15-minute to get my daily bias or see where trend is going, but I usually am entering trades on the 3-minute and 5-minute. All right, now for symbols. Same thing that you did up here. You can favorite them, and they will pop up over here once you have them favorited. So if you go in, I use the trend line tool. You see once I favorite it, it'll pop up over in this area over here. So favorite it, it shows up. You unfavorite it, it goes away. So I use the trend line. I use the horizontal ray. I use the Fibonacci retracement. I don't use anything in patterns. I use the long position. I use the short position. I use the rectangle, the circle, and then I use the text. That is literally all I use. This is a measuring tool, so say you wanted to know how big this candle was. So you can just click it. You go from the top of the candle down to the bottom of the candle. It'll measure out that this candle was 121 points. So that's basically how you would use that tool. So now that you have all these set up over here, you can go in and you can arrange them how you want. I like that first. Then I got the trend line, then you got your horizontal rays, you got your Fibonacci retracement, you got your long position, your short position, and then you have your journaling tools here, so circle and a text. So for the box, so say you want to draw an order block per se. So right here, you got this initial push down, then you have this trend here, or this continuation down here to this bottom. So for example, if you wanted to do a order block or anything really, you don't just use them for order blocks, you can use them for whatever you want. So order block, say, just for an example, you just want to mark it up. So from top of this candle to bottom of that candle, and you drag it out. That is an order block. So you just marked out a a little position here for you. You drew out your box. If you wanted to change things about this box, you just click on it, and you can come into here, press the settings, go into your style. If you wanted to, this is me without an extension on it. And if you wanted to extend it to your left to infinity, you just click the extend left. If you wanted to click it to the right, it would go out to infinity. I usually don't do the extensions left and right. I just don't like it. You can do, a white border, you can do black border, you can do whatever border you want. Orange border, yellow border. I like mine to be, the black borders. The middle line, that's basically your consequent encroachment, your CE, the middle of the box. You can see how it's dotted right in here. It's black. I'll change it to white. Now you can see that it's white. All right, you can change it to be, a thicker line. You can change it to be a solid line. You can change it to be, whatever you want it to be. I like it like that, and I like it to be there. I think I had it in black. Yeah, there you go. Now for the background, you can change the opacity. It could be, super bright, but then you have the chance of running into, you can't see the candles. So what I do is go to your settings, your opacity. I like to be able to see the candles that I have, now I can see these candles within the box. It doesn't really, cancel them out. So that's how I like it. The next one will be a trend line. So if you want to draw a trend line, you just click it once, then you go to where you want it. You want to get as many touches as possible on the trend line. So now you have one touch point, you have two touch points. Every time it touches that line, you see that it is continuing down in the downward direction. So you would expect, since it's coming back up here and touching this trend line, that it's going to come down, it's going to continue in the downward direction. But you don't know that, so the trend line is just basically a tool for you to watch and see what happens when it gets to that point. You never know if it can continue down or if it'll break above it and start moving in the upward direction. You don't know. All right, so say you have all these drawn on here. Let's draw this one back on here like we had and draw this line out. If you want to delete these, you could individually click on them and delete them, or you can right-click the screen and remove two drawings. All right, so that's an easy way to do it. So for this, I do horizontal raise every single day. For me, I like to draw out my previous day highs, previous day lows, pre-market high, pre-market low, and opening range high and low. All right, so for me, my pre-market highs and lows will be marked out since I'm in Central Texas, so I'm in Central Standard Time. I would draw my pre-market highs out where it would be anytime after 4 a.m. Eastern Time to 9:29 Eastern Time, literally right before the market opens. That would be considered my pre-market high and low. So since I am in Central Standard Time, that would be anywhere from 3 a.m. my time to 8:29 a.m. my time. So I would go over here. I would find any time that is after 4 a.m. Eastern Time. So 4 right there. So anytime after this point right here, I am marking out my high and low. So this will be considered my high. I would take this tool here, boom, just set it there. I already have it saved to where if I just right click, I do my template, I do my pre-market high, PM, H, and L, that's pre-market high and low, and it turns it blue. And then my pre-market low, so anytime after 4, let's see, this is a low, but right before market opens, you can see right here, 9:25 in the morning, Eastern Time, this is the low. So you would mark it out there. That is your pre-market low. All right, and to get rid of them, right click, remove. So I'm not worried about explaining what the pre-market high, pre-market low, previous day high, previous day low, and opening range high and low is right now. I will get into that in a strategy video, but right now this is just how to mark up your charts. So moving on to the next one, this is going to be your Fibonacci retracement. What I use this for is usually whenever you have a move, it'll move a certain direction and then it'll retrace a little bit, get into the 50% of a retracement, and then it'll continue in its original direction. So this is a good example here. You would mark out your range high down to your range low. So this is the price. This is the leg that you want to mark out because this is the high of this price leg. This is the low of the price leg. So you're going to mark out. You click it once, drag it to the bottom, click it again on this bottom part, and now that's your range. So you would expect it to come up, tap into the 50% or the 618% retracement before it starts continuing in the original direction that it was. All right, so a lot of people, they'll get into a trade, they'll get scared once they start seeing it retrace up to here, they'll immediately get out. But what they don't realize is that it's going to go up into the 50% retracement most of the time and continue down its original direction to its original price point. All right, so once again, I'll get into this in a different video, but this is just how to mark up a chart. So for a long tool, so L will be you're taking a position to the upside, and an S you're taking a sell, which is a position to the downside. So L is going to be long for buy, and S is going to be short for sell. All right, so on Friday, on the 24th of July, 2026, I took this position. So I took a long. I saw this engulfing candle. It engulfed the previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles to its immediate left. It engulfed all those. I saw volume was rising, basically telling me that there was a lot of buyers that stepped up. I saw this next candle turn into a doji with a long wick to the bottom, telling me that the buyers were still there and confirming that the buyers were about to step in. So what I did was I bought right here at the close of this candle. The next candle opened up. I immediately bought. My stop loss goes at the bottom of the previous candle, and my take profit would have been all the way up here. That is my target. All right, so it would have been a 264-point move and only risking about 46, almost 47 points. All right, so that is how you draw up what your expected trade would be. Now, my trade on Friday did not make it all the way up there. I got to this initial point here. Once I got to that point, I took off a little bit of my position. I pulled my stop loss up a little bit too far. The way price was moving all week this past week was a little iffy to me, so I kind of just stayed out. I tried to protect as much capital as possible, so I'm okay with how this played out. This was about let's see if I wanted to measure how far this move was. It was a 93-point move all the way up there. So I was okay with that move. I took my initial a few positions off here, and I set my stops. I pulled my stop up to I want to say about this point because I wasn't confident in the way price was moving. So it tapped me out once it went to this position, came back down to my original entry point, and you can see from there it pretty much went all the way up to my price point. But I was fine with what I got out of it. I'm perfectly okay with my small win on Friday with the way price was moving. So that was my buy position I took on Friday the 24th, and you can see how that measuring tool works, or that the long position works. And now it's exact opposite for a sell position. Say for example you wanted to sell off right here. Let's say you saw this candle, you saw a bunch of sellers step in here, it created this long wick. So at the close of this candle, you jump over here and you do a sell. You set your stop loss up at the previous high, and then you would write it down to, let's say, for example, this point right here. Let's just go, for example, I would go right there. Right there. Because you can see this is a swing low here, so price usually likes to come back and tap these points. So that would have been in this trade, for example, this is not a trade that I took, this is just an example, my trade was stopped out right there. So you can measure out exactly how many points it would have been. That would have been a 145-point move, and you were only risking 43.25 points. So it was a 3.35 risk to reward. So you were risking 43 points to make 145, and that is a 1 to 3 risk to reward. So you can delete it. All right. So that is how to favorite your time frames, how to favorite your tools, how to draw them out, how to use them. Let's say indicators. You can go in here if you have like a, let's just say, um, I don't even know what indicator that you would use. Let's just say volume. I do use volume quite a bit. So just volume, you just click on it. You can favorite that as well, and it'll bring it up to your favorites. So if you, for example, if you go to your favorites, I have a bunch favorited. Once you click them, you will see that they are favorited. You have to make sure you press that star. Let's see, and now my volume, it'll show up right down here. These are little volume bars. You can see how much volume was in these candles here. All right, and you can go in and mess with it, change the colors, all that kind of stuff. But that is how you would do indicators. Let's see. Another thing that you can use, let's say if you want to zoom in or out of your chart, you can use the wheel on your mouse, and you can see if I'm moving the wheel towards me, so down, you can see that it's zooming out. So you can see all these candles in the past. If you scroll the wheel up away from you, you're zooming in, so you get a little bit, tighter picture. You can see the individual candles even better. All right, same down here. If you come down here and you zoom in and out, you can do it that way. And over here, if you do the same thing, you can zoom in and out. All right. Let's see. So down here, this will be your time zone. So if you click on it, you can click whatever time zone you're in. I like to keep mine in the New York time zone, so UTC -4, and that would be New York time zone. So I have that clicked right here, UTC -4. I always have that clicked. So you can see it's 2:32 on Sunday, the 26th of July, 2026. So you can see that here, and then you can see my actual time is 1:32 on the 26th of July. So it'll mark up your charts like that. If you go to your electronic trading hours, that is what I keep mine on. So electronic trading hours mean you'll be able to see from open to close and even overnight. So market, you can see there's a gap here. Market closes at 4:57, so about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock Eastern time, and then it opens back up at 1800, which will be 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock my time. So you'll see the gap there. So you can see from 1800 on the 23rd of July, which is Thursday, all the way through the night. So you have Asia session, you have London session, you have all that, and then you have market open right here. So that'll be 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, 8:30 a.m. my time in Texas. So you see you have all the hours with electronic trading hours. If you move this to regular trading hours, all you don't see the overnight session at all. You see from where it closed on Thursday, which would be 14:12, so 4:12 Eastern time, until 09:30 in the morning on Friday. So you will miss out on all of the overnight session if you have regular trading hours on. I always keep electronic trading hours on because I like to see what it did overnight. And that's also how I mark out my pre-market high and lows, my previous day high and lows, so on and so forth. Let's see. If you want to add symbols, you click this little list over here, your watch list. And then if you want to delete a symbol, you just hover over it, click the delete sign. If you want to add a symbol, you come up here. Let's just say I want to trade gold for some reason. I don't trade gold, but gold. So gold futures. Let's say GC is gold, so GC. So you just click the plus symbol, and it would automatically add it right over here. I don't really trade it, so I don't need it. Let's see. How to use your magnet tool. So if you look over here, this should already be highlighted. So all you would do is, if you take it off, if you look, there's not really Like if you go over and you try and place a line, you get kind of lost in here because you don't know exactly where the very, top point of the wick is. So you're kind of just guessing at this point. You can zoom in as much as you want. You're like, oh man, see, it didn't really come onto the wick as much as it should. So you don't know. So okay, that looks pretty good. But in order to, not fight that, let's say now you turn this on and you try and do the same thing. Whenever I get close to that wick, it's going to automatically magnetize to that point. So you see how it already went to that point right there. Now it'll go to this point and you just click your button. Now if you drag it, it'll automatically go to the next wick. It'll go to the candle. It'll go to the bottom of the candle. It'll go to the bottom of the wick. It'll go to this candle. It'll go to this candle. It'll go to this wick. So on and so forth. So the magnet tool just helps out whenever you're trying to chart and being as accurate as possible. Let's see, another one. So for example, let's say you're using the trend line and you come over here and you're like, okay, I want this to be, the point to where, let's zoom out a little bit. So you're saying you're in a trade, for example, and you say, okay, my target's going to be here. So how do I measure that exact point? Well, you can do this. You can drag it over, and you're like, oh man, well, it's not straight. How do I want to make sure that it gets completely straight? So if you just click on the shift button, or just hold shift, it'll automatically move it straight. You release shift, it's back to wherever the magnet has it. Hit shift, it's straight. Unclick shift, it's not. So if you hold shift and you press the release button, which is the left mouse, then it'll go straight. One more time. So you click the trend line with the left click of the mouse, you drag it to where you want it to be, your starting position, you click it once, left click, scroll over to where you want it to be. If you don't think it's straight enough, hold shift, left click the mouse one more time to release it, and it's done. Alright, so you can come in here, you can click the settings, click the style, you can change the colors, you can change the opacity, making it more like clear and visible almost. You can change the thickness of the line, and then you can change the line style, so you can go from a solid line to dotted lines. That's the one I like, so that's the one I use. Alright, and you can also extend it. I don't extend mine because I want to know exactly where this price point is going to go. That is my target. Say if I was in a trade from up here, this is my target. This would be my overall target, my final target. So I don't really want to sell my position until it reaches this, or it shows me signs that it's not going to reach that. So shift, boom, done. Alright, you can right click, remove two drawings. Okay, and let's say I wanted to paper trade, alright? So if you want to paper trade using fake money, no money on the line whatsoever, you're just trying to learn at this point, you do trade, you come over here, paper trading, and you press connect. Now you can click trade, you can minimize this. Always do market orders. I do not like limit orders or stop orders. I only do market orders. So wherever you click on the price, wherever you click buy or sell, that's where it's going to buy or sell. Here, if you click limit, it's only going to buy or sell if it gets to a certain price point that you select. So I like to do market orders. This is going to be how many units you want to buy or sell. For this, since it's clicked on buy, this will be a long position, so you're buying. And then for sell, you're expecting price to go down. So you're shorting, you're selling. All right, so if you buy one on, this is micro, so MNQ is micro NASDAQ. If you buy one, it's going to be 50 cents per tick. So every point is going to move $2 because there's 4 ticks in a point, 50 cents a point, or 50 cents a tick, $2 a point. So if you have one, it's 50 cents. If you have two, it's $1. If you have three, it's $1.50. You can see that here. If you have four, it's $2. So every tick, it's going to move $2. I'm usually anywhere between 1 and 5. I do not go over 5. So you can set your take profit and your stop loss. I usually only do a stop loss, and I usually do about 150 ticks. and that'd be about $75 loss if it went to my full, stop loss. But that's how you can do that. That's how you practice. If you want to practice, that'll be another video, like how to do. If you just want to do like a replay, you can go in, you can start a new replay. You can click on where you want it to be. So let's say you wanted to replay Friday's price action. So you can come in. Let's see. This is right before market open. It'll go to that point, and then down here you just press the fast forward button or the play button, and you can speed it up. You can do whatever speed you want. If you wanted to go like normal speed, if you wanted to go super slow, if you wanted to go really fast, stuff like that. If you're on the 3-minute time frame, whatever time frame you want to be on in the replay. And then you can press the trade button. So let's say market opened, for example. Okay, so this is right before market open. This is still 9:27 in the morning Eastern time, so it's 8:27 my time. Next candle would be market open. So this is 9:30 Eastern time. Market is open. So that's the first 3 minutes of the market, and that's the second 3 minutes of the market right there. So let's say you saw this, you saw that it came up here, it swept this liquidity up here, it closed super weak, meaning all the sellers were coming in here. At the close of this candle, you're like, okay, I want to sell. Let's just go 3 micros, for example. Just an example. You just press sell. This is fake money. This is not real. All right. So you'd see you're in a position now. You can move. For me, my stop loss would go above this line here. That is where I know that the trade is no longer valid. And for me, let's just go take profit down here at the bottom of this wick. That is where I would want price to be for me in order to take all my profit. So you have your take profit and your stop loss set. Now you're just fast forward. There's one candle. There's another candle. You just keep going all the way to the end. And you're out of the trade. It's done. And you can scroll down here. You can bring this up. You can say, oh, that trade was $868.5 that you made. You're 100% on that. You had your max drawdown was $7.50. So it's a very good trade there. You can get all your statistics right there. All right. So that's how to use the replay tool. You can click it again. You can get out of it, and it'll bring you back to the normal. And then you can sign out of your paper trading account, and that's it. So quick little rundown, of how to mark up your charts down and dirty. The next video I do is going to be about strategy, so that's where I'm going to be actually marking up my charts and showing you exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to trading and all that kind of stuff. But this was just, to get you started, how to mark up your charts, how to use certain tools, and now it's time for you to go in and learn how to use them. Change the settings, create some templates for you to use and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I showed you a template, but if you go in here and you draw and you right click it, you'll see your templates. So if you want to come in here and say, oh, okay, this is a trend line, I want to come in and save it a certain way. So you can do your style, whatever, your text, whatever this is, you target, whatever. You can see that it marks it there. I would do mine on top, center, and I would probably change it to white just so I can see it better. All right, so you can see that, and then you can save it as, and then you can be target, whatever. And now every time, let's delete this. So whenever I do come in here, make it straight, right click it, template, now you're looking for target, right? So there it is, target, and now it's saved to what you were, what you had saved it for. You don't have to change the name and all that every single time. If you have it saved as a template, then you can just go in and use it. All right, so if you have any other questions, just comment down below and I'll try and make a video on it and, try and keep helping you out as much as I can. If anybody ever tells you they have a 100% win rate and you need to run as far away as possible, Nobody has a 100% win rate in this market, or not even in this market. In trading in general, there is no 100% win rate. So if somebody's trying to tell you that they have one, um, they're lying. So, quick little rundown, nice down and dirty, how to get started with marking up your charts and all that kind of good stuff. So, if you like this kind of type of content, please like and subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you want to see, and I will try and make a video for you. The next one's going to be, a bit about a strategy that I use. It'll be the 30-minute opening range breakout and how to mark up your charts for that and how to set yourself up for success. So if you like this type of content, go ahead, like and subscribe, and keep joining in. See you in the next one. Simplify.